What is going on, everybody? We're here and we are live. It's Ryan and Jay. We're on opposite sides today, aren't we?
I guess that's okay.
You must have got in the studio quicker than I did this morning, and that's okay.
I got in and cleaned it up for you because it had like Cobra Cast stuff all over the background. So
fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I didn't want you to be upset, so I got in here early to fix it.
It's funny because was it Friday that we did this show? For some reason, my camera was set to mirror my image. And I felt like something was off and I couldn't tell. And I kept like tilting. I felt like my head was tilting off one way. So I kept like tilting it more. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't realize until after we were done with the show that I had been mirrored the entire fucking time. Which, here, I looked like this. And I was like, something like it doesn't feel right.
Just a little off.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel right. Something was weird. I was like trying to move my head a different way. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Didn't realize till afterwards my shit was mirrored. No wonder. I didn't like that very much, Jay.
I'm sorry.
I don't like change.
That's me. That's me mirrored. Yeah, it is weird. I feel like I'm sliding down.
Yes, exactly. Like it it was throwing me off. I think it was our Friday show that happened. It was just throwing me the fuck off. And I didn't understand why. But, you know.
Now we know. It can be worse than...
I don't think I was with you, though. I might have been with Chris and Beardo on Friday.
Probably why I was all messed up.
Maybe.
Well, I got to share. I was sharing this with Ryan earlier today, about 5 minutes ago, maybe 2 minutes ago.
It technically was earlier today.
McDonald's decided that they're going to go on Twitch and stream Minecraft with Grimace, Birdie, and the Hamburglar. McDonald's themselves on their official Twitter account was promoting this. Like, I don't know how many viewers, but it was they streamed for a long time, and it just got. Oh, no, I got to show this other clip. It just got. People are posting clips online because it just got weird. It got freaking weird. Good to see the Hamburglar back. I thought they were getting rid of that character because of reasons, but like, this is like what they did for
Robble.
Wow, he said robble. I like that's.
Are we surprised that McDonald's hasn't race swapped the Hamburglar yet?
What is Birdie doing? What is the what is Birdie's? The Hamburger likes hamburgers. Grimace drinks all the milkshake. That's why he's fat.
Robble.
What is Birdie doing? What does Birdie do? Is she French fries or something? What is this? Chicken nuggets? What does Birdie do?
I'm gonna be real. I'm not familiar with Birdie. I know Grimace, the Hamburglar. I don't know Birdie that well.
Like, what is she like? She's showing off her chair.
Whoa.
And this was the top. Like, gamers better be. They better be on the lookout because this is coming and it's going to take away all of.
No lie, I'd rather tune into this than Cobra Cast, just like for the record. Maybe more concise political commentary from Grimace, just saying, "Ooh,"
and robble.
Wobble. But Minecraft and McDonald's had a big partnership for this thing. They've got a Minecraft meal there where you can get a bunch of, they've got like adult meals with Minecraft shit in it. They've got like another sauce that they're doing. Obviously, they're like, hey, I think we want to get in on this massive freaking video game franchise, and it's seems like it's worked for both.
Where's Mayor McCheese? We got to get some Mayor McCheese up in here. Ryan's got a few things to say to Mayor McCheese. Very upset that they changed the pricing for one slice of cheese.
Yeah, well, that's an old gripe. That's one of, if you go back to, I don't know, 13, 14-year-old me, however long ago that happened, that was one of the first like real times I raged against fast food was when McDonald's, because you used to be able to get a double cheeseburger on the dollar menu. right? And then because of, I think they blamed it on, well, there's a little slight price increase on cheese. We can't afford to do that. So the double cheeseburger then became like $1.39, $1.40, somewhere around that area. But
Yeah.
they came up with a new dollar menu item, and that was the McDouble. The McDouble fucking sucks. And
Yeah.
the only thing that's different is there's only one slice of cheese instead of two. But that makes a massive difference. McDouble, trash. Double cheeseburger, badass. But I mean, I'm talking about something that's now a 20-year-old complaint I had. Now double cheeseburgers are like $3.39 or some crazy shit. So
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Thanks, Trump. Everybody blames you. I mean, all right. Anyway, if you want some more of that content, go over to Twitch and subscribe to the McDonald's brand new Twitch channel.
yeah, double cheeseburgers. I love double cheeseburgers.
I love them too, man.
Bro, I used to just go but I had a lot of different especially when I was in like high school. Dude, I'd just go in 5 McDoubles, 5 large fries, fucking chow down. That was a meal for me.
Easy.
Breakfast, I used to go and get 5 bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles and 5 hash browns for breakfast.
That's a lot.
I know. How is that any different than 5 double cheeseburgers?
McGriddles?
Yeah.
McGriddles has sausage, egg, cheese.
No, bacon, or first of all, bacon,
right.
egg, and cheese McGriddles.
Okay.
Not sausage.
And the bread is like thick pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
A little different than the cheeseburger bread. That's what I think. I think they're a little more heavier.
They're definitely more like, they've got a lot more like sweetness and richness in them, I suppose. But
breaking news, I just was informed that not only does McDonald's Twitch live stream, but so does Chuck E. Cheese. So you could get Chuck E. Cheese content.
Bro, what happened to Chuck E. Cheese?
Poggers.
What did he say? High nerds?
Partners?
Or partners? I don't know. Yeah.
Bro, that's
some
nightmare.
pretty sad Chuck E.
nightmare
Cheese
fuel
there.
right there.
Oh, poggers.
He said poggers. Oh, that is nightmare fuel. You know, it used to be the nightmare fuel about Chuck E. Cheese was that some fucking pedophile with no kids there was just going to be cruising around looking for kids to kidnap. Now you got to worry about the goddamn mouse.
That's rough, man. Bring back the old animatronics when they'd half work and sing songs.
I used to love Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid.
Of course. It was a good day when you went. Pizza, video games.
It's just so tough to compare when you were a child and going there versus when you go to say there's like a birthday party or whatever, like somebody knows kids having a birthday party and they invite a bunch of whatever. And then you go there and as an adult and you're like, wow, was it really this shitty? Did my parents really have to suffer this much when they took me? Or is this place just gone downhill, right? Like that's the question you always ask yourself when you go back in those things. Because when I was a kid, dude, I loved Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, man. Same. It was the place to be.
Now, it also is going to depend on where you're at in the country or where you're at in the city and which Chuck E. Cheese you go to might affect your experience.
Yeah.
And how well behaved all of the other children in there may or may not be.
There's a Chuck E. Cheese on Martin Luther King Boulevard here in Orlando.
Predictable experience then.
Probably got to avoid that one.
Predictable experience. The Man in Black, late in Sports Wars. Thanks, Man in Black. Zero, y'all look like the two guys from the Park Hoppin' vid.
It's cousins.
Yeah, we know those guys. We know those guys. Like what I just want is for the video that we did on Epic Universe to do better than the video that you and Krista did. That's all I really want. I just want to beat her. I want my view count to beat the one that Krista did.
It's heading that way.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That was really my only goal with that. Alex McCarthy for 2. It's RK3PO Daily. Enter code RK Outpost or Drunk 3PO. That's right. Go check out Meta PCs. Our friends at Meta PCs. The link is in the description. You can use code 199 as well.
Yeah, if you want.
You know, we're fine with the gays here too. So Empty-headed for 199. I agree with Josh. Let Jay raid.
Yeah, I tried to raid daily from my morning stream, and apparently, I guess I guess I got to be added to the list. It's like it's blocked unless you turn it on or something like that.
I'll change it. I'll change it.
Like just like open raids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Vladik Gorbanov for 199. Please, Jay, no.
You talking about the McDonald's? Too late. I'm sorry.
B Chain for 5. Anyone remember those cartoon VHS movies McDonald's had in the early 2000s? The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald? Watch the shit out of them.
I don't.
I don't necessarily remember that. However, I remember, bro, this is, I do remember some videos that they used to have out there, but the one that sticks in my mind the most was not a movie or a VHS or anything. It was a cassette tape that you could get from McDonald's, and it was specifically a Halloween thing. It was like a spooky story thing. It was on cassette, and it had all of the characters involved, and there was some weird thing going on in their town or something. I do remember that very vividly from, I don't know when that would have been, and maybe I was like 3rd or 4th grade or something.
Yo, there it is. You can find it on YouTube for free. The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald.
That looks creepy.
If this is the one you're talking about, holy crap. Yeah, that looks rough, man.
Bro, the Hamburglar looks like the kid that's going to fucking shoot up the school. Doesn't
Why does Ronald look like that? Look at Grimace holding a bent snow cone. Ice cream.
Bro, the fucking Hamburglar looks like the kid who fucking dresses in all dark clothes and wears a trench coat, and one fucking day he's going to come and have a rifle under there.
Everybody be nice to that kid.
Yeah. That's 100% what the Hamburglar looks like. Andre CR, McDonald's. Thanks, Jay.
Oh.
McDonald's.
McDonald's, that's what I'm supposed to say?
I don't say McDonald's. It doesn't say Mac. It says MC. McDonald's. Not Mac.
You know what I don't like?
It is a Big Mac, though. Hold on, but it is a Big Mac.
That is true. Are you one of those people that like people that say, let's go to Mickey D's?
I
Does that make you upset?
Let's
go to Mickey D's, everyone.
You know, we called it that a lot when I was a kid. So it's not something that really bothers me. Now, if somebody was obsessively referring to it as that constantly, it might fucking drive me crazy.
Okay, just checking.
I say McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's. You get it next time you go to McDonald's, Chad. Ask for a dripping fish. You thank me later.
It is called a Big Mac and Mac sauce.
Huh?
Not a Big Mick.
Do we have a revelation here? McDonald's?
Well, no, it's not a revelation. Andre CR's from another fucking country. I don't really give a shit. I'm never gonna not call it McDonald's.
Other McDonald's from other countries have different menus, so maybe he's got special stuff over there.
Where's he from? Fucking Czech Republic or some shit?
Yeah, maybe. Something like that.
Tobias. Oh, sorry, I didn't read the rest. Did McDonald's don't have the balls to race swap the Hamburglar? Ironically, he's still ginger. Yes.
That's why we should support those that aren't race swap.
I
almost said deport.
We support. Tobias for 5. I suddenly feel a lot more confident about my streams compared to this. It probably had like fucking 100,000 people watching or some stupid shit. Ryan is the walking. You know what grinds my gears meme? A lot of stuff grinds my gears, except me. B Chain for 5. I still have a lava lamp I won from Chuck E. Cheese in like 1998. Works like a charm. That's fucking wild that it still works.
Yeah, I think it would like crack and leak all over the place.
Dark Knight Rider. I think Birdie pimped breakfast food. Early bird. Maybe. Dr. Knockers, thoughts on if you think the Warfare movie will be good? I've heard I haven't really seen too much about the Warfare movie. I
Me
feel like
either.
I've heard about it. Um, let's see. Oh, I have. That is the A24 one. To be honest, I that is okay. That is the one that is supposed to be kind of they're going to do a lot of real-time elements of it. And I thought the trailer looked phenomenal. I thought the trailer looked phenomenal for it. It's an A24 movie. I think it's set in Iraq. But yeah, we'll see. I guess I have to find out a little bit more about it. I haven't heard anybody who's seen it or anything like that, but I did see that trailer in the theaters for the first time. I thought it looked really, really solid. Woodles for 199. Prediction for Thunderbolt's overall box office. Slightly less than Captain America, I guess.
Ooh, really? 200,000?
Well, that would be a lot less. But
what did they do? 400?
Yeah, I mean, Brave New World is sitting at around like 410, 412 worldwide, and it's stalling out, and it's going on digital.
Yeah, going on digital.
So remember that 425 break even point that they put out using a fake budget and fake numbers and all that shit. It seems like it might not even get to that level, which is just sad and pathetic. But I think that's why they started putting out those numbers about 425 break even, because they knew that was about all this movie had in it. But slightly less than Captain America, if I had to guess. Joshua S., it's my B-day. Hope to be as miserable as Ryan one day. You'll get there, buddy. I believe in you.
Just keep living life. It'll just infect you.
Yeah, life finds a way to make you miserable. Happy birthday, Joshua.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thomas Whitted for 199. In the 1970s, McDonald's had a pirate ship in it. You misspelled McDonald's. But
Ronald McDonald's
Charitard for 2. Can we talk about how bad the Netflix DMC is? The Netflix DMC. Devil May Cry? I haven't watched it. So I couldn't tell you.
Me either.
Charitard. Y'all see the Narnia Aslan news?
About the Meryl Streep?
Yeah, Meryl Streep potentially being cast as Aslan. I haven't heard that official anywhere. We just like a week ago, maybe more than a week ago, we saw a random report that said Meryl Streep is potentially being cast as Aslan, which should be. I mean, look, it was bad enough when we come out here. Greta Gerwig's Narnia is all about rock and roll. It's like, one, what the fuck? Okay. Now I don't really understand how that jives if you're doing an adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia. But then the idea of having Meryl Streep, having Aslan being voiced by a woman, which means that Aslan will be gender swapped, which means that the allegory for Jesus Christ in these books
woman
is going to be a woman. I unless there's any updates on that. I mean, let me look and see. Netflix.
Remember when they the first announced that they might make Snape, the black actor, and people were like, it's just, we don't know if it's true. It can't be true. They can't be that dumb, and they did it anyway. So
I see, like, even though that story came out a week ago, there's finally articles that are being written about it now in the past 24 hours. So that's I see now why it might be in the news. I mean,
it's just the same story that they're thinking about. They're thinking about using her to voice. Sounds good. Just keep at it. Why not?
I mean, my God.
Why not? At this point.
Youper for 5. This is the worst show on YouTube, and I can't stop listening to it. I believe you. It's McDoubles for 10. Ryan, why do you hate me? Also, W. Gina Carano, screw Disney.
Mm.
I hate you, McDoubles, because you're one less piece of cheese than is required. That's why I fucking hate you. Icanalus for 2 was driving during daily yesterday, so I didn't get to send this, but seems appropriate with the conversation. Zegler as Snow White had less chance to work than a McDonald's ice cream machine.
That's pretty good.
Bro, if I heard somebody call it McDonald's, I want to slap them.
Over Mickey D's?
Yeah, there's the thing. Well, no, McDonald's. Yeah, like, because guess what? Mickey D's, right? McDonald's. Yeah. McDonald's. We got to go down to a McDonald's. Like, yeah. I don't know.
They probably call it something else, like Ronald. We got to go to Ronald Town.
Got to go to Ronnie Max.
Ronnie Max. Ronnie Max. Get one of them fishies.
them fish sandwiches. Shit-faced Cockmaster for 5. What's up, my McNuggets? What's up, man?
What's up?
Cosmic Thunder for 5. Jay, you skipped my super chat on park hopping yesterday because you got distracted talking about something else. So here's more money, I guess. Thank you,
man.
Cosmic
I'm really
Thunder.
sorry. I thought I got them all. That was a pretty good stream over there. I apologize.
Jay's sorry. Yeah. But that did get brought up from It's McDoubles about little Gina Carano news. So we might as well talk about that. It's been a while since Gina Carano announced that she was taking Disney to court over the way they treated her, over the way she was fired. She said, you know what? This is illegal. It's bullshit. And we're going to court over it. And all along the way, Disney has tried to get out of it. They've tried to get the case dismissed. They tried to get it thrown out. They've tried to suppress everything they could. And even just a few days ago, we got the news that Gina Carano's lawyers were forced to submit another motion because Disney wasn't playing by the rules. Disney didn't want to turn over discovery, right? Gina Carano accuses Disney of stonewalling as trial date delayed to 2026. Motion to compel filed after 8 months of reported deflection and stalling. Disney doesn't want to turn over discovery. They don't want them looking at the books. They don't want to turn over the stuff that they were legally required to turn over. Surprise, surprise. Well, until yesterday, when the news came out that, in fact, the judge says, Disney, you're full of shit. Hand over the stuff you're supposed to hand over. And again, it did result in the trial probably being delayed, like we said, into 2026. But it does look like Gina Carano and her lawyers are going to get their hands on what they wanted. Gina Carano wins big against Disney in lawsuit discovery battle. Judge orders Disney to hand over actor pay records within 20 days. I know you talked about this, Jay.
Yeah, 20 days. They want the pay, that's her attorney down there. They want the pay sheets of Pedro, Rosario, and other Disney Plus Star Wars shows. So maybe we'll find out what Amandla made in The Acolyte. Things like that. Some of these numbers that they just kind of throw out there, the lawyers are going to get. So we'll find for certain exactly what exactly. I don't know if I don't think this is released to the public as of yet. That's just something that goes to the lawyers for the case. So of course they were just trying to drag their feet and thinking that this would probably go away, or they were, for me, again, people might ask, Jay, Gina does not talk to me about this case whatsoever. We never, ever brought it up. It was, she's under like hush hush, while this was going on. But it just seems like they're trying to drag this out until they could find a judge that would throw it out, something along those lines. Or maybe they could find something else that they could use to get it thrown out. So it doesn't have to go into a discovery mode where all these numbers that I'm positive they don't want out. I'm pretty sure Pedro Pascal doesn't want his salary numbers out there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't care. I don't know.
Yeah. So they're looking for, so again, the entire point is, hey, You guys fired me. Shouldn't have been allowed to fire me that way. It was bullshit. And this is all the stuff I missed out on because of the way that I was treated by this company, because this company fired me. When they've clearly not held other people to the same standard at this company. So how much compensation did I lose out on? So they're looking at a variety of different people, right? People from Mandalorian, people from Book of Boba Fett. This includes Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, Amanda Stenberg, Diego Luna for Andor, right? And like they're going through all of that stuff. Now, one thing that I don't believe they have their hands on yet, but still is open to possibilities depending on what they see in these pay files. This could open up potential profits and losses for different shows, how much they spent on different shows and how much they've concluded they've profited or lost off those shows. That, as of yet, is not green light go. That's kind of yellow light. Like, hey, you don't get it right away, but depending on what you find and depending on what your experts that look at this feel like you need more context for, then you argue that to court. If we get to see that, oh boy, that would be interesting, wouldn't it, Jay?
Yeah, we'll see how much they've lied about certain profits and exactly how like profit margin, things like that for all these shows, and probably how much of a failure these shows have been, just judging by the viewership and stuff like that compared to the amount of money they've spent. So it's not surprising. Like again, shocking, Ryan. I'm not a lawyer, or am I in the law profession? If they refuse to give everything over in these 20 days, are they just looking at like a major fine, probably, or something along those lines? Like, what could the judge do?
Well, I think that the 20 days, from what I read in the filing, the 20 days can be extended if both parties are still like working in good faith and maybe they just couldn't get this there yet. And they don't think it's like a scheme or whatever. So it could take a little more than 20 days maybe for some of the stuff. But again, if they don't hand it over, it's going to be another problem. And I don't know exactly what that would entail. I'm not a lawyer, nor am I giving anyone legal advice either. But Disney must produce the actor compensation records within 20 days of the order. The documents must include verified spreadsheets, not vague summaries or cherry-picked numbers. The scope includes The Mandalorian, other Disney Plus Star Wars series, and the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu film. If more records are needed, Carano's lawyers can ask for additional evidence after reviewing what Disney hands over.
So if they need that stuff from the film, does that mean that she might have been supposed to be in the movie?
That's the argument, right? Because that's the entire crux of this, is if everything had gone according to what they had planned out and what their inclusion would be, right? She would have been in Mandalorian season 3. She might have made an appearance in this, probably in the Mando and Grogu movie. Like, those are the questions that get answered. And those are the things you're arguing when you're saying, hey, look how much this cost me when they fired me this way. You know, here's the thing. The 20-day timeline is strict, but parties can agree to modify it as long as it doesn't violate the trial schedule. So,
I mean, Disney didn't do them any favors with the likes of Rachel Zegler, Mark Hamill, and others that they have employed when they let them. And Mark Ruffalo is another one. Not with the he's with the MCU. He's not with Lucasfilm, but still, it's still under Disney when they let these people post whatever they want politically and still hire them for their movies and things like that. Because that's what it all came down to, was a post, which she turned out to be right, by the way, that was on an Instagram story that wasn't on Twitter. But she was questioning masks, things like that. But it all came down to like that Holocaust post that she put on her Instagram story that lasted 24 hours, that somebody screenshotted, of course, and used that to get her fired. But then you have people like Rachel Zegler, which they let her do whatever she wants, and other celebrities that are under the Disney umbrella. So I can't see how Disney wins this. I mean, anything's possible in court of law, but I just don't see how they make out good on this. It just seems like they're stalling to try to get it thrown out.
Everything they've argued and everything they've tried has got shot down.
Yeah.
Right.
Shut down quickly too. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah. And even though the media, remember when this first happened, the media was like, Gina Carano stands no chance in
Yeah,
this,
no chance. They
and
laughed at her. They laughed, man. They were laughing at her.
essentially. And look, I've said from the beginning that I think it's going to be a very tall task to go through this entire process and win against a company like Disney. Ironic, right? Using California's ridiculous laws in some case against this company, which I think 100% is the right thing to do. It's going to be interesting to see like how this ends up. I think the odds were against her from the beginning, going up and fighting a company like Disney for something like this. But we'll see what happens, man. It's been going really well for her, despite Disney doing everything in their power to try to obfuscate, to try to get away from it, to try to stall, to delay, to hide shit, to cover shit up.
They've
But the case
lost.
keeps marching forward.
Yeah, they lose all their appeals. You think there's someone secretly in the back shredding files? Like Goofy's back there, and they're all shredding files with Grogu. We got a few more months, man. Keep get rid of those emails. Put them next to Hillary's emails.
Yeah, this is the thing.
I'm being sarcastic. I'm just saying.
With like, they could just be like, oh, we couldn't find them. Sorry, they must have got deleted off the hard drive. That looks pretty shady as fuck if they were to come out and say we can't find them.
Bro, it's crazy because
I think Disney has like some legitimate arguments that they're making in terms of, hey, these things are very closely held. Like if I were them, the reason I would argue not to reveal the profits and losses because, hey, the profits and losses have nothing to do with that. That's beyond the scope of what they're looking for. She wouldn't be compensated the same way as this person. So those are the arguments I would make, even if I didn't know if they were going to be winners or not. That's just kind of what you have to do. And they've tried all that and it has not worked so far.
I've said this from day one. The easy out for them is Bob Iger, whatever, and saying that was under Bob Chapek. I wasn't here when that happened, and he made a terrible misjudgment in handling this whole thing. And that's one of the reasons why they brought me back in. So stuff like this didn't happen. They just pass the blame to someone who's not there anymore. It's a simple. But I guess he'd have to throw KK under the bus too.
Look, that could be a public relations out for them, but It's not a legal out. It doesn't matter if somebody else was running the company, 5 years ago. It's still the same company. You're still responsible for the company is still responsible for the actions that those people took, even if those same parties aren't necessarily there anymore. So legally, it's not really an out. Dr. Knockers for 5. Does Jay get his flowers for being the closest to predict the Snow White box office total? Put some respect on his name. Well, like we said before, we were playing Price is Right rules. So
I will
Jay would
say
have guessed $1, he would have won.
I didn't get the flowers, but Spider Unlimited, I don't know if he's in the chat. He sent me some pirate rum in my P.O. box that I haven't cracked open yet.
Nice.
So
he spelled it wrong.
Yeah, that's how you spelled it back in the day. Sort of. Pirate. There we go.
Pirate.
I haven't cracked this open yet, but it looks awesome. So
looks
see
good.
You sitting there on the corner, just chugging it back, man, right from the bottle, baby. That's how you do it.
Magnum Norse, my favorite special person and my favorite asshole. Fucking great. Hello, Magnum Norse. I think we know. Charizard, Mackie D's nuts. Crew for 5. Hail Ryan, finished courtship, and I found it insufferable to get through. Couldn't stand the love triangle stuff, and the rest of it was pretty weird. I like courtship. I wouldn't put it as one of my favorites or anything. There's some people that love the book. But there's some weird stuff, including all the Dathomir stuff, all the witch stuff, for sure. Madney for 5. My 90-year-old grandma calls it McDonald's. Please don't slap her, Ryan. Tell her to shut the fuck up about it in front of me.
And you want to know something? That's amazing. 90-year-old grandma still eating McDonald's. That ought to tell you something. Don't listen to the experts out there. Go enjoy your Big Mick.
Yeah, Big Mick with your mix sauce.
That's right.
McDonald sounds like too much like Mac Ronalds from Coming to America.
That's McDowell's,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that was McDowell's, I thought. Yeah.
McDowell's. They have the Big Mick, though. They do have the Big Mick.
Yeah. Roland New. Is it just me or does chicken jockey sound like an obscure slur? Like if I called someone a chicken jockey, they'd be offended without knowing why. Is someone like you could? I do agree that there are some people that could think that that was highly offensive, right?
I'm sure it'll come around.
Perpetual fucking victims. They're gonna get called like you call a black person a chicken jockey, they're gonna freak the fuck out. Like I can see that happening in the near future. Panic and Skyfaller. Ryan, do you think it's possible an investor lawsuit with Ubisoft could reveal actual AC Shadows sales numbers during discovery?
If it applies to,
it's possible, I suppose, if that does like come to fruition and things like that happen, but I don't know. I don't know. Jay, please explain sin the drip and fish before I get thrown out of Ronnie Max for mentioning it.
The sin, a drip and fish means you're gonna get a fish sandwich with like triple the tartar sauce on it. So when you pick it up, it just drips out all over the side. Sometimes you got to eat it with a fork.
If McDonald's had a parrot for $5, I will officiate Jay and Gina's wedding after lawsuit wins for a nominal fee. Maybe we can do it at a doomsday theatrical showing.
I'll keep that in mind.
Spud, if Disney doesn't hand over the documents, the judge can issue a default judgment and give the win to Gina. That's what they did to Alex Jones.
A default judgment.
Magnum Norris for $5. Jay, that pirate does get you tipsy, which makes for good streaming.
Yeah, I don't think I haven't had a lot of rum in my life in a while. So if I start drinking this, it's gonna knock me over.
Delta Entertainment, Linko Kenobi for 10. What's up, everyone? Hey, Jay, I sent you a video on your message board on X and had a message to say thanks for what you did for Gina. Hail the 199.
Oh, thank you. I don't think I did anything. She just looked at me like a Make-A-Wish kid, and it's like, I feel sorry for him. Let me give him a little help. It's pretty much how that whole thing happened. And I'm a pretty big guy, so they had me at the conventions to make sure most of the furries there didn't get out of line. It's pretty much it. And for some strange reason, I got to meet Brie Larson through it all. So that was a bonus.
My girl.
Brie Larson. Talk about Ryan.
Yeah. You could at least name drop me, Jay.
I was going to. I saw you were about to speak, and I didn't want to cut you off because I'm accused of doing that all the time.
No, I'm saying you should have name dropped me to her.
It happened so quickly, and I was starstruck by her beauty and the glow and the aura I didn't think it was there. I didn't want to like say hi and spit on her. Like that's the worst thing. You know, you get like you get nervous and like all the spit builds up in my bottom lip, like Bubba from Forrest Gump, and like I was gonna, hey, you know my friend, and it's just like nothing worse than a big white shot, you know, hit her right in the face. Right before she has to take pictures in front of like hundreds of people. It wouldn't have gone over well.
That's going to be a clip.
She was very nice.
Always Sunny Mac is Ronald McDonald. That is true. Mac's name is Ronald McDonald. Magnum Norris, drink the pirate, you fig.
Man, it's only 11:40. I gotta at least make it to noon.
It's not even noon yet.
Plus, it's got a cork in there. I got to get one of the cork will probably just pop off.
Put a cork in it, Jay.
Yeah, I know.
Jay, have you watched Daredevil Born Again yet?
Not a single episode because I was waiting to hear. I didn't want to get disappointed. I didn't want my heart broken. I love the Netflix series. I watched it several times. I actually enjoyed The Punisher on Netflix. Season 1 was better than season 2, but still I enjoyed watching them. And I was like scared to death now that Disney had their hands on them, that they were just going to trash these characters Punisher is my all-time favorite comic book character, and they screwed him over in the comic books. And I was like, they're going to do the same thing to him here. I can't bear to watch it. Can't do it. So I was waiting to hear from people like you and Gary and others. And when Gary tweeted, watching Daredevil is a complete waste of time, I knew I made the right decision not watching it.
Look, the first couple episodes, I thought they were extremely mediocre, right? And there was a lot of red flags in there. If they had done some things, I'm like, okay, I could see this turning out okay and being an okay series. And some other things, the things they were setting up with those first couple episodes, I feel like if they took that route, I was really going to not like it. The further along the series has gotten, the more it's felt like Daredevil Afterbirth instead of Daredevil Born Again. And it is just such a shell of the Netflix show. One thing that I have done over the last couple of weeks is rewatch the Netflix series. And the difference is just so stark. And it's impossible not to compare those because you're supposed to. This is a continuation of that very show. And, you know, maybe it's different if we hadn't seen Kingpin get completely and totally emasculated throughout the Echo series and Hawkeye and all these other things. Maybe it'd be different if we hadn't seen Daredevil already in the She-Hulk Abomination show. But we did. You can't turn that around. You can't take that back. But one thing is very clear. No one's watching this show, Jay.
Wow.
We got the news after its launch when Disney came out and said, hey, guys, 7.5 million views on Disney Plus in the first 5 days. And people are like, well, what does that mean? Is that good? Is that bad? Well, the answer is it's really bad. It's less than Agatha all along. And, you know, maybe the viewership would pick up, though. Maybe people would have a really positive feelings about it. Hasn't exactly been the case. And now that we finally have Nielsen's streaming ratings, right, the gold standard in the industry, it's really revealed how little people give a shit about this show. Daredevil flops, Born Again misses the Nielsen charts. And yes, premiered on March 4th is when Daredevil Born Again officially came out with 2 episodes, by the way. 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again with a pretty long runtime of nearly 2 hours between the 2 episodes. And not only is it nowhere to be seen on the overall streaming charts, see Reacher absolutely dominating right there over on Prime Video, but not anywhere to be found on overall, not even on just the originals. Keep in mind, both The Acolyte and Agatha All Along made this chart for their debuts, but nowhere. Invincible is in 10th place with 465 million minutes watched, right? To put this in perspective, I want to show you this. And a lot of this is going to depend on when it comes out, right? If there's a lot more that people are watching, maybe the same number wouldn't have made the charts that week, etc., so forth. But take a look. Agatha All Along did make the top 10 originals at 426 million minutes watched. The Acolyte made it with 488 million minutes watched. And I think the interesting part is that Daredevil Born Again had a significantly longer runtime than either of those, which means it racks up more millions of minutes watched. 110 minutes compared to Agatha, which was 80 minutes, and The Acolyte, which was 76 minutes. And Agatha had one less day of viewership because of when it premiered.
Jeez.
I mean, it's a catastrophic failure for them.
Yeah. Do you think this show would have done better on Hulu than on Disney Plus if Disney decided like we should put it on Hulu instead? Because Disney Plus, to me, it just like shows like this don't belong there. Like I just don't think it belongs. Disney Plus. When you think of Disney Plus, you just think of like Bluey that's dominating the ratings over there on Disney Plus, some like the classic cartoons and things like that. You put more of an adult show on there, and it just seems like people just don't watch them on Disney Plus.
Huge chunk. I think it's certainly reasonable to say that a huge chunk of people that are subscribed on Disney Plus, they're doing it for kids, right? I think that's very reasonable to say. I think it's only a matter of time until virtually every big new original that they put out on Disney Plus goes on Disney Plus and Hulu. I think that time is coming at some point. They're gonna, they already have them fairly integrated in terms of their advertising and showing things you can watch on Hulu within the Disney Plus app. We know you can bundle them, all that stuff. They're even advertising like sex shit on Disney Plus, which is an entirely different story. But
wow, why would they do that for Hulu?
For Hulu, yeah. But that's an
a
entirely different
mistake.
story than this necessarily. But Daredevil had such potential because these characters that people love had a built-in fan base. Would have loved to see a great story with these characters again. And so far, there's 2 episodes to go. But so far after that, what I felt was very mediocre start, it feels like it's only continued to just get worse. And you can tell that in parts, you can tell that the show kind of got ripped apart and put back together. Apparently, these last 2 episodes are going to be more of the new stuff that they filmed. But with what they've done so far, I just find it really hard to believe that they're going to tie this season up into a acceptable ending that makes people feel positive about the show. They are doing a season 2. They admitted that the show is a massive pile of shit and they had to bring in a bunch of people to kind of use this thing and put it all together. But I just don't know, man. The whole show's been incredibly disappointing.
I think for me, like the first episode when they just killed Froggy off, I was like, oh man, here it goes,
What's
man.
his
Like
name?
that isn't his name Froggy? That's his name, right?
Foggy.
Yeah. Isn't that what I said?
You said
did I say frog? Like
froggy.
frog?
Like
Foggy.
he's getting a little froggy.
My bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, when he was killed in the first 5 minutes, he was a crucial part of the Netflix series. I just was like, yeah, they're going to go in a different direction.
I think it's going to be revealed that he's alive.
Okay.
Personally, I think it's going to be revealed that he's alive, that he faked his death in some way, or somebody faked his death. And I think that's going to be a reveal this season. And I think he is coming back for season. That's my guess. But
when is the Punisher shows? Like they have a Punisher standalone show that's supposed to be released too. Also, is that this month, or is that coming in May?
I don't know when that's supposed to release.
It's like is it like a 2-hour movie type thing that they're just gonna just drop that they filmed? If the Daredevil show's not doing well, I'm pretty sure that's not going to do well either. That's not going to do well either. So that's too bad. That Daredevil is something special on Netflix. It's too bad that people have checked out. I mean, they did it to himself, man. The MCU brand is damaged. Star Wars is a complete joke. Like it's not even. I don't even know what that is. It's not even Star Wars anymore. They should just rebrand the name.
And look, I will say this. I think when it comes to Daredevil Born Again, if you compare it to the other MCU shows that they've come out with, I think this one probably is near the top of the list for those. Unfortunately, you can't escape this because the biggest thing it had going for it was its connection to the Netflix series and so much positivity from a fan base that watched those episodes. But that's also the biggest thing it has going against it because it's impossible to look at this show and not compare it to what you're supposed to compare it to, which because it's a continuation of the first 3 seasons of what we saw on Netflix. And it does not, in my opinion, in no way, in any way, not a single facet of this is done to the same level or better than the Netflix series. It quite literally pales in comparison. And that's why I said it's not Daredevil Born Again, it's Daredevil Afterbirth. That's what this feels like.
You would think they would go find the same exact people that worked on the show and just say, go have at it. Continue. Oh well. That's a shame, man. That's a shame. That was a God, that show was excellent on Netflix. That's a shame. I'm glad I didn't invest an hour of my time in any of that.
Well, it did make me go back and watch the originals for the first time in a little while, which was good.
Gosh, and God help me when that freaking Punisher thing drops.
Yeah, I don't think that's coming anytime soon. That might be next year or something.
Is it?
We've only had 5 minutes of Punisher, and it was just one sequence where Matt came in there and talked to him. It was actually, that's the best scene that they've had in the entire show.
And they were just talking?
Yes. That was the that was the only point in time where I was reminded of some of the conversations and some of the dialogue that we had from the Netflix series was the Punisher interaction. I think he's going to show up at some point in these last 2 episodes. But we've had 4 or 5 minutes of Frank Castle, and he's just kind of sitting in his hideout. It's not like he's out and about doing anything. He's just sitting in his hideout talking to Matt.
Great.
We had, 10 minutes of Karen and Foggy, and then another like 3 minutes of Karen in the second episode, and that's all we've seen. So,
well, here's an announcement. If you're an annual pass holder to Universal, the Universal Annual Pass previews for Epic Universe are now on sale. So if you have an annual pass to Universal Studios, you can get tickets to go to Epic Universe in April.
In April, is April.
Yeah, mid-April to early May. I have been on the website since the stream has started, and this is where I'm at in my place. My estimated wait time is more than an hour.
You're almost there.
I'm curious as to what they're selling the tickets for. So that's like what I'm hoping to see.
You're almost there.
We're almost there.
We had a good time.
Ah, man, great time. Had a weird dessert at the end of the day, though. That was the only thing. It was
we ate at the Atlantic.
Yeah. I don't know what that dessert was.
I had steak. You had steak, I think.
Yeah. The food was good. The dessert looked like I had like a piece of a carpet, but it was like coconut. So no complaints over here. I'm just not used to that fancy stuff, man. And you made a good point. Like every dessert menu should have the standard brownie ice cream. If you're going to have like Captain Choice, coconut, pineapple, parfait, yogurt, whatever the freak I was, that's what they were recommended. They're like, you should try this. This is our Captain's special dessert. All right, sure. I'll give it a whirl. Somebody else next to us had cheesecake in the shape of octopus tentacles and some kind of green sponge cake to make it look like seaweed, I'm assuming. And you decided no dessert for me.
Yeah, I passed on dessert. I had a butterbeer earlier.
Yeah.
Figured that was enough fucking sugar and shit. But yeah, the steak was good. Had an old fashioned. That was good. But yes, all the fancy, this deconstructed this whatever, this fancy.
Yeah,
everybody needs just a good old plain, hey, a big ass fucking chocolate chip cookie with ice cream on it.
Yeah.
Just throw that in there.
And chicken fingers to make the Jeremys of the world happy.
Yeah. All right, where did I leave off here? Narrow boat Nige. Yes, Jay, right with you, brother. Daredevil is shite.
I didn't see it, but I trust the people around me.
So it's the thing. It's not as shit as it is not as bad as Agatha or Falcon and Winter Soldier or Secret Invasion. It is not as bad as those. It's better than those shows. But unfortunately, it feels worse when you watch it because of how good the
other
previous
ones
iteration was. Yes.
You think that's another reason why the Daredevil fans decided not to tune in, because they think Disney would have just screwed it up compared to the Netflix series? Like, there's got to be some reason that the ratings are this bad.
I think it's just in general apathy. I mean, we just saw what happened in Falcon and Captain Black America, Brave New World. Thunderbolts projections are not looking very good either. That looks to open a little bit less than Captain America, Brave New World. So it's just bad. It's just bad. Tobias for 10. I missed what Jay said about furries, but my plans to go to a con this year have been derailed by a more costly trip in August. A cruise to Iceland. Might have to find a way to get one of you to go. To a cruise in Iceland?
A furry cruise in Iceland. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't see it in the cards, but
yep.
Magna Norse for 5. I can't believe a company that hates me made more content than reinforces the hatred of me. Andor season 2 is likely to use the word that sounds like grape without the G. Are the boys at G&G going to be talking this up? Space fantasy shouldn't be implying this when Star Wars is for 12-year-old kids. Yeah, I heard something floating around there about there's a potential victim of rape or something in Andor season 2. I'm gonna be real. I have to hear a little bit more about it until I get super fucking triggered. Look, you had dancing fucking Twi'leks who clearly are fucking sex slaves in Return of the Jedi. There's a reason that Leia is dressed like that and fucking in chains, right, in Jabba's palace. Now I hear what you're saying. I don't think Andor is made for kids. Period. But I would have to know a little bit more about the context surrounding before I get super triggered about it, if I'm just being honest. I don't know.
I have been unplugged from Star Wars stuff because it is just
now if you're telling me it's getting to if you're telling me it's going to Game of Thrones, like Sansa getting raped type of scene or what, if you're telling me it's going like that far, then yeah, I think maybe, I don't know if we should see something like that in Star Wars. If it's coming to just like the implication of something evil being done or somebody processing that stuff, I just don't know. I would have to know more about it before I give some sort of declarative statement. But all I saw was a rumor that was going around about it, so I don't know too many details. But yeah, the Twi'lek dancers, they're fucking sex slaves. I don't like. Tomac for 10. So I see Jay identifies with Big the cat.
Big the cat. I'm not a cat guy. I'll be honest with you.
Somehow
we've been down that road before. Sorry.
Somehow Foggy returned. Daredevil, probably. Magnum Norse for 10. Disney sucks weenus. Thanks, Magnum Norse. Gerhalt for 10. I'm way behind in this stream, but we all know Ryan's favorite McDonald's character is Mac Tonight, aka Moon.
Oh man, the moon. Yeah, that was a great run. The singing moon. That was a great run.
I think he's got a solo album out there somewhere. Raven Black Sparrow plays for 2. Foggy is a scroll.
That
they did talk about scrolls in this show already. Matt's defending some piece of shit black criminal guy who's like trying to like excuse away what he clearly did, and he's like, maybe it was a scroll, and Matt's like, no, it wasn't. It was you. Greedy Graffiti for 199. Jay, I found that King Kong remix. Thanks, homie.
Oh man, you're welcome.
Vladi Gorbanov for 199. If he's Froggy, I'm Vloggy.
What's up, Vloggy?
Blue Shell for 5. Oh yeah, Jay, the Food and Wine Festival is now live at Busch Gardens if you're interested.
Oh really? I think I went to the one last year. But they do something pretty similar right near my home at SeaWorld. They kind of do like the same one. So SeaWorld used to give away like free samples of beer.
Nice.
That was good.
Kaleki Oki for 199. And they said gonna be better than the Penguin. I don't know who fucking said it, but they were wrong so far. Greedy Graffiti for 5. If one's dessert looks like carpet, how does that make them a carpet muncher? Jay?
I broke it up and it almost fell off my plate. I have no idea.
Icanalis. All right, Canalis. For 2, Daredevil, bored again. Yeah. Good point. Where'd this go? Joseph Salazar. You think Thunderbolts makes more than Brave New World? I think that it's going to be. I said I think it's slightly less. Slightly less. In that $400 million range. But I don't know, man. I don't know who's excited for Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I hear or see nothing.
I think they
I'm
were
not even talking about it in the negative, you know, like at least with like Captain America, it's like people were talking about the crazy press tour and stuff like that. This like is nothing.
I think that people were hoping that I think people were hoping I think Marvel was hoping that the inclusion of so many of them in the Avengers Doomsday announcement might get more people wanting to watch it, but I just don't know if there's been any movement. I saw that the initial box office projections, which look, we can go higher than those, we can go lower than those. You can double those sometimes, like we saw with Minecraft, but it's between 65 and 85 million opening weekend. I think Captain Black America Brave New World was what $88 million traditional 3-day opening. So looking like it's going to be under that debut so far. We'll see. But Jay, what do you got going
on? Later, probably going to do a gaming stream later today, and then just work on more videos. The Gina Carano lawsuit stuff is really doing well over there on the channel. So had a great live stream yesterday going over Tombstone. So I appreciate everyone that showed up for that. So that's where we're at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Magnum Norse for 5. Jeremy eats box like a trash compactor. Thank you. All right. That's going to be it for us, guys. We won't be back tomorrow, but you know what? I bet somebody will. We'll have you covered for Geeks and Gamers Daily tomorrow, and me and Jay will be back on Thursday and Friday once again. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for Rumble peeps. Thanks for Locals peeps. And we will talk to everybody later. Bye, everyone.